Welcome back. This is still TV3Newday. It's time now to have a conversation, an extended one, on the regional elections for the NPP that took place over the weekend. 3 days of tension, drama, suspense, and eventually it was discovered after the election results were declared that 12 incumbent regional chairmen of the NPP retained their positions, after the delegates conference. However, the incumbent chairman in the Bono East and the Western North regions could not maintain their positions. And also in the Eastern region, the incumbents decided not to seek re-election, and so a new phase emerged. But even that, it was not devoid of some drama and, of course, some serious tension. So we'll get into that conversation. And out of the 12 who retained their positions, the Western Regional Chairman, Francis Indedesia, went unopposed. So that makes it 15 out of the 16 regions. In fact, for the Central region, there was an outstanding court injunction, and so elections could not be held. So at the moment, we have Divine Otu Agohom for the Greater Accra region retaining his position. Bernard Entry Boisiaku, we all call him Chairman Wuntumi, and he retained his position in the Ashanti region. Quite a shock to many, looking at the fact that Pollster Ben Efson had predicted boldly a week before the elections that he was going to lose to his biggest contender, Coca. So what happened? Chairman Wuntumi says that no matter the propaganda, they're going to break their 8, and of course MPP still remains a movement. We'll get into that. In the Northeast region, we had Nuruddin Fuseni, Anthony Namu in the Upper East region, Kwabno Wusu Setria Hafo, and then Mohammed Adam Bantima Samba in the Northern region, Idrisu Sulemana Savannah, and Kwame Bafo, aka Bronye, of course, in the Bono region. Also, region of interest, so we'll pay attention to that. The rest were Makafu Wenya in the Volta region, who said something interesting about the pattern of votes and how that clearly shows that they will indeed break the 8. Is that really possible? Evans Yadapa from the OT region maintained his position, and Sambai Kangberi from the Upper West region. Joining us via Zoom this morning is Dr. Asa Asante, and he is a senior lecturer, political science department at the University of Ghana. We're hoping that we can have Pollster Ben Efson also join us to tell us what he makes of that prediction that didn't go exactly how he expected. But Dr. Asa Asante, good to have you in the studios and via Zoom, by the way. I hope you're well.
I'm very well. And yourself?
I'm good, thank you very much. I think the last time I spoke to you was probably after the elections, thereabouts.
Yes.
So it's been a long time. But I'm glad that we can talk today. Let's start off with your general overview of the elections that took place over the weekend. Of course, there was violence. There were some people who were arrested in the northern region, about 6 of them, for entering the premises without their party cards as well. And also other places where, people were pouring libation, weren't too happy with the situation on the ground. Even in the Greater Accra region, journalists were also brutalized. What's your general overview of the elections?
I think the election generally went on smooth, with the exception of few places that you've mentioned, Northern region, Greater Accra, but everything went on smoothly. People voted for the candidates they wanted them to be in office, and that is a reflection of what happened. It gives an indication that the problem that the party hierarchy anticipated or they saw earlier on, which people talked about, they've sent a word round, and that people beginning to understand that it is a contest, not violence. So I can see that. I can also see that there is a renewed effort on the part of the party to make sure that the election goes on smoothly, so as to ensure that those who really want to contest for flag bearership position will have a very clean slate to operate from. And you can see that deliberate effort on the part of the party to make sure that things went as planned. So all in all, you realize that some homework has been done. But that is not to say that what we saw in Northern region and other places is something that we want to welcome that. The party has also put in effort to deal with this thing, or nip it in the bud, so that it doesn't affect the quality of the elections as they are going forward. It is important because as we are going to elect flag bearers, and then you are going to elect the parliamentary candidates. You are going to have more of such problems if you are not able to handle them. So it's a call to duty on the part of holders of political power within the NPP to rise up to the occasion and stem the tide, so as to not to get us into trouble when we get to the very critical elections, such as the one that elects the flag bearer and then the parliamentary candidates.
Well, we all know that there have been some long-standing internal wranglings within the party. Of course, we know that there is some division as well as to who even would emerge flag bearer, and that has trickled down to the grassroots as well, determining who they support, eventually who they would support when it comes to the national elections. Are you surprised then that about 12 of these, especially the chairman, retain their positions? Looking also at the reports that we had received from some party members indicating that they were not too happy with some of their leadership, the executives and what they had done for the grassroots within the party.
I'm not surprised, because in election, anything happen. You will have a situation where people will be touting or rooting for a particular person, only to go to the polls and disappoint the person. It's something characteristic of what elections, so I'm not surprised.
At all.
But what is important that we need to know is that it is one thing winning the position to be a flag bearer, a regional chairman or a vice, or holding other position. And another thing, making
well, apologies, of course. Dr. Asad Santi has joined us via Zoom, and so clearly there will be some technical challenges, but we're discussing the regional elections for the NPP.
Look at the last election.
Okay, there he is. Carry on. Carry on, Doc. Okay, well.
Of the NDC. It tells you that, yes.
Doc, we missed you at that point where you said we should look at the last election. So if you can just recap on that.
Okay. I'm saying that if you look at the last election, we had certain results. Over 30 ministers and deputy ministers were booted out of office in the parliamentary elections. And then you ask yourself, what happened? It means that something went wrong at the constituency level. Something went wrong at the regional level. And something went wrong at the national level. What is it that existed that affected the quality of the election that the party structure at the constituency could not see? The party structure at the regional level could not see. So those who have been elected as regional executive officers have a duty, a more difficult task this time around, because most of them have been retained, and they were the very people who were in office when these tsunamis swept away a lot of the candidates. So what new thing are they bringing on board? How are they going to change the chemistry? All right, they need to work very extra hard, because they need to, first of all, prove themselves that, look, what happened will not repeat itself in 2024. Two, they need to also reunite members of the party, because now you have a lot of bickering, rancor within the party. They need to work on that. And then they need to make sure that they don't allow themselves to be divided. Now that you are going to have your flag bearer elected and all that, it can create all manner of problems. So they have a difficult task. For the opposition, for them, they will be happy that you have maintained most of the people who really contributed nothing in their eyes towards the last election. So they think that, yes, this time around will be them to it. It's not going to be that easy, but at least per their calculation, they know that, look, you were no match during the last election. So they must be happy that they've been retained, but they have a lot of work to do if they really want to break the eight.
And I like that you touched on that, because a founding member of the opposition NDC, Alhaji Sani Mohammed, he had indicated that, in fact, the party was glad that Chairman Wontumi was able to retain his position as party chairman in the Ashanti region, because if his closest contender, Coker, had come, then maybe they would have given the NDC a run for their money. Let's look at even predictions before the elections took place. We realized that Ben Efsin had predicted that even Chairman Wontumi was not going to retain his position because party faithfuls were disgruntled. They were not happy, and what broke the camel's back was the fact that even at the party office, Chairman Wontumi, who, is always out there showcasing his wealth, was not able to help the party put up a building, for them. And their offices were locked up by the landlady because she said that they were owed 3 years of salary. And so for him, he wasn't sure if Chairman Wontumi was going to retain his seat. So if you look at the conversations going on, especially for the likes of Chairman Wontumi, do you think that that could also affect the NPP's chances, especially in the Ashanti region, which is their heartbeat?
You see, those earlier comments about whether he was going to retain his seat or not, becomes immaterial at this time, now that he's being elected. But the thing is that he promised to deliver 47 seats for the NPP, the last election, and he lost 5 of them. All right, 4 to the NDC and 1 to an independent candidate, which the party rejected initially. So now the question is, what new thing that does he want to bring on board? Has he got any new ideas that will change the system? Let us remember that since 1992, NDC has progressively making strides in Ashanti region. Yes, so now it's going to be a difficult task for him to be able to deliver more seats for the NPP. Ashanti region, as we all know, has been the backbone of the NPP. As soon as things go wrong there, then the election is going to be difficult for the NPP. We want him this time around to be able to have a certain scheme that will be able to help his party to be able to deliver the 47 seats. But if you ask me, on top of my head, I would say that it's going to be a difficult task for him. But who knows? Let's wait and see.
All right. Well, also joining us this morning is Mr. Ben Efsin. He's a pollster, of course. We know that he has predicted rightly some election results in the country. Well, a week before the delegates conference, the regional delegates conference, he predicted that he would be surprised if the Ashanti regional chairman had retained his position. Week down the line, Chairman Wontumi did actually retain his position. He joins us this morning, Mr. Ben Efsin, by the way. Good morning, sir.
Good morning listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us on TV3Newday. Now, looking at the results, clearly your prediction didn't go as expected. Are you surprised? Are you disappointed?
Not disappointed, but also surprised when I heard of what happened. I believe that you heard the person who paid a different thing. He paid 1,000.
Yeah.
And you got 20 votes. If you are a delegate and you were a farmer, and for example, you are handed 5,000 CDs to vote for somebody, how much will you ever get from your farm? And when you won, why was he apologizing? You won. Why are you apologizing and promising to do better? Because when we did the work, many of the delegates were rightly angry that from 2016, NPP 76% of votes in Ashanti dropped to 71.6. More embarrassingly, we hired a place at the party's office. You couldn't pay the rent, and the party was thrown out. So if money has changed hands and you've won, you see the enormity of the money you spent to win. I mean, if you're a farmer, but clearly, if the NPP wants to achieve their aim of breaking the 8, and they allow Wontumi to run the party as he has done in the last 4 years, they should forget it.
But he's very optimistic that they're going to win. And are you then saying that he did not win fairly?
When you buy votes, I mean, a participant has told you how much it is, and you got 20. People paid far in excess of that. And look, if you are a delegate, you are a civil servant, your pay is 1,500, and you are given 5 times your pay. You will swallow your objection, take the money, and vote. That's what I'm saying. That why is it that yes, you won, you got over 50% of the votes? What was he apologizing for and promising to do better? You get me? Why was he odd by the fact that he won in the end? Why was he apologizing for what? I mean, the NPP clearly knows that if they allow him to run the party as they did, if in 2024 the NPP gets below 70, they are out of power straight.
Do you think, I mean, with the promise that he has made that he will do better, do you think that from that 76% to 71%, it would improve or it will further decline?
It depends on how he performs, and depends on how the national executives who have general overview of the region look at it. I mean, a party in power, and he dropped 4.5% in your stronghold. What did I tell you? Total chaos and mismanagement of your World Bank. You are in power, you are in opposition, you got 76%, and you are in power and you dropped to 71.6. These are data, it's not looking normal. Hello.
Well, the General Secretary of the party says that they have put in place some measures to ensure that, first of all, there's unity within the party. But if you listen to some party members who have been speaking even to 3FM, you realize that they are still very unhappy and they feel like, some few people are the only ones who are enjoying with regards to even Chairman Wontumi retaining his position. And so they are not clearly happy about the results. Could that also affect it, even if he tries his best to fix whatever problem it is that could have led him to lose his position?
The most dangerous cancer for a political party is apathy. When your support base is apathetic, they will not get out and vote. I mean, I'm finishing my 7th book on elections. We've done an analysis of the 2020 elections. Clearly, of Ghanaian voters are swayed. It's only a swing voter who go to a polling station, vote for an NDC member of parliament, and vote for an NPP presidential candidate. When your core support base is apathetic, do not turn up and vote. And once our parliamentary and presidential elections are decided by +1 vote, when your hardcore support base is apathetic, the show apathy is like voting for the other. So the NPP has a task on its hands. Definitely, they are going to be stubborn. They are going to be these issues. They will have to deal. Fortunately, they've done it well ahead of time, because now it is rather the opposition party, the NDC, which should be at where the NPP is now, having the elections. So, fortunately for the NPP, they will have some time to mend anger that has come out of the just ended elections.
Okay. Now, the question about breaking the 8. The EIEU says, of course, that it's not likely that the NPP can break the 8 because of the high levels of unemployment, lack of development, etc. But they also indicate that the NDC could win this time around in 2024, but they might have to relook at the candidate that represents them as well. So far, what do you say about this prediction? Do you think that that's actually what's going to happen?
I think that breaking the 8, there are 2 levels that will come into play. One, the NPP will be electing a new flag bearer. How smooth that process will be a factor.
Okay.
So breaking the 8 is going to depend party becomes in the aftermath of the election of a new flag bearer. For the NDC, they will have to be a bit more tactical. To win 30 of 32 seats you lost, and to lose the presidential by over 540,000 votes, tells you that you lost something. The NDC lost the plot and now put it squarely at the doorstep of its presidential candidate, John Mahama.
Okay.
The free SHS was what carried Akufo-Addo through. When you say NDC will do progressive free SHS, it's either you like it or you don't like it. And the NPP was smart in that aspect, that Muhammad's progressive free SHS means that when he comes, he will cancel it. So people voted their displeasure on the NPP parliamentary candidate, but voted for Akufo-Addo to continue. You can see, and with of the voting population being swinged, a political party takes the electorate for granted at its own risk.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ben Efson, for speaking to us. Let me go back now to Dr. Asante. Let's continue this conversation. So I'm sure you've heard from Mr. Ben Efson. He also indicates clearly that the NDC lost the plot. You know, that's why they were not able to win the 2020 elections. But moving forward, what do you also make of the EIU's report that the NPP is most likely to lose the elections, and the NDC, if they want to retain, you know, their mandate after 4 years, would have to change their flag bearer? So it does not have to be Mr. John Dramani Mahama. What do you say?
It's too early in the day for you to confirm or deny that report. But anything which is research-based is food for thought. And it's very important in looking at that thing when you are planning. It's like, you know, when you have exit poll immediately after exit poll before you do any serious election. In advanced democracies, when you are going for any election, they rely on exit poll, and then they go for actual research to gather data and build messages and develop manifesto and all that. Whether NDC is going to win or lose, the two parties depend upon 3 or 4 things. One, what I have reduced them to this acronym RSM. Resources is a critical factor. 2, you have what? S mean you have you need to look at the how secure are you in terms of what you have achieved so far, and then the manifesto or your messages, right? These things are very, very important when you are looking at elections. Resources, material, financial, and what have you. You need to be able to gather this for election. And mind you, if you look at the NPP, the economy is struggling, and that people are struggling. Those who are contributing to the party, these things are going to affect them one way or the other. You look at people who are going to contest, is another thing. Do we have marketable candidates who will be able to work and, you know, get people voted for them? All right. Because they've been in government, you realize that some of the candidates, people have expressed their displeasure about them. These are going to play out when we are looking at the 2024 elections, and how well they are able to combine these things, get the necessary research for them to be able to build a solid manifesto and messages. Is very, very important to any of the parties winning the election or losing it. But quite apart from all these things, you realize that the NDC, as they said, has a little edge over the NPP in the sense that we are very close to the election. Don't think that we are looking at 2024. The 2024 is out. You have only up to 2023. All right. So the government must work very fast, very hard to be able to have a record that they can stand on to compete, to canvass for votes. Let us remember that election is nothing but contest of ideas and referendum of your work. What work can they show now? If you look around, yes, it is true, to be fair to the government has put in a lot of programs that we are seeing, but there are lots that need to be done within this short period. Would they able to do that? That's the first question. The next question is that look at the numerous promises that they've given, all right, to Ghanaians through their manifesto. Are they going to be able to honor all these things? All right. Let us look at even last election. Your station carried a lot of analysis from Imani about promises and how they have actualized them. All right. We are going to have such analysis, and these are the building blocks for the voter to be able to know whether the party deceived them or really did their bidding.
Okay.
Right? These things are going to influence the choice of voters and all that. Remember also that in Ghana, when we are talking about elections, there are a number of factors that influence voter choice. One is the economy. How well are they going to build the economy from this time up to 2024? What would determine whether they win power or lose power, because it is the most important variable that voters consider when they are making choices. Because look, a hungry man is an angry man. Everybody, irrespective of your political party, you want to have the economy, booming so that you can make ends meet. When economic crisis sets in, voters will react. And the second issue that influences voter choices is the issue of development. And here I'm talking about infrastructure development. If you look at the nook and cranny of this country, it is true that government has started doing a number of projects and all that. Can they be able to finish all that before the time so that people would not be disadvantaged and all that? The issue of corruption is also critical. How well has the government been able to handle corruption over this period? Is also a function and other factors.
All right, let me bring Mr. Benefson in before we wrap up. And so we clearly see that there are two sides at least. Majority of the members within the party are either leaning more towards the Alan side or the Dr. Baumia side. Now, would the person who also leads the party between the two be a great determinant as to whether they would progress to breaking the AIDS? Do you think that really plays a role, apart from how these people are even elected to become the flag bearers?
Well, I think that the entry of candidate Japan makes it a 3-month race. I think that in the aftermath of whoever is the flag bearer, the national executives, the council of elders will have to smoothen the edges. I mean, because of campaigning, clearly there are going to be issues of disagreements, issues to be held from people and so on. Fortunately, they have decentralized it, so it's not going to be like the 2007 one where you had 15 people all converging at one place, at least. And they reduced the tension that if there are more than 5 candidates, a mini electoral college will shorten the list to 5. And in the end, about 200,000 people will vote. They are doing it early. They will have enough time to assuage and mend fences. So, yes, the NDC, being the opposition party, should have been where the NPP is now in terms of electing their offices. And like Doctor said, I mean, 2024 election year, you don't let anybody change their mind, because people would have made up their mind by the last quarter of 2023. If you cut your hair the election year, nobody will mind you, because they know that because of elections. So the two parties are, yes, breaking the eight will not be easy, but NDC should not also take it for granted that every 8 years they send somebody away. With a third of voters are swayed, you joke with the electorate at your own political risk.
Okay. In the case of Mr. Kennedy Japan that you just mentioned as well, the question for many people would be that is he really in the race to run and hopefully win, or is he just trying to garner a certain constituency so he can have bragging rights? What do you say?
Oh, I think that Kennedy is popular in the party. He has entered relatively late, but he's been working the party. I think that Kennedy has an advantage that Alan does not have.
Is it?
Yes, if Alan had gone into policy, we are talking about election of a flag bearer by people within the party. If Alan had gone into parliament after 2007, like Kennedy has gone for his sixth term, Allah would have given Bawumia a hell of race. Comment you, Bawumia, after losing as running mate in 2007 and 2012, still work in the party. Kennedy is contesting, and the people out there who will vote will be people within the party. So far, our monitoring of the election of the biggest mass of potential delegates, the polling station and the constituency executives, it looks like Bawumia is in the race with Allah. Now, we had, as far back as October, November, picked up that Kennedy will enter the race. He has entered now. It is going to be interesting if, because the election will be decided by a simple majority. Whoever wins between the three of them, let's say the two, Allah and Bawumia, whoever, if there's no runoff, it has to be decided by a simple majority of 50% plus one of votes.
Yeah.
So I think that breaking the eight will be more difficult, but the NDC too will have to check themselves.
Okay. Quick one before you go, by the way. Who do you think is the man for the NPP? You're talking about these three people. I don't know if we've lost him. Okay, he's there. Between or among the three of them, Kennedy, Alan Chairman Ting, and also Dr. Bawumia. We know that there are other people who have also shown interest, including their great minister. But these three, who do you think is the man for the job?
I think the delegates might select Dr. Bawumia.
Okay.
Yes, it's early days yet, but having monitored the election of majority of the delegates at polling station level, at constituency level, and mind you that decisions to vote for somebody are not cast in stone. A lot will depend on the campaigns that the potential flag bearership persons would be doing.
Okay.
But
all right.
If today elections were held today to elect the flag bearer, I think that Bawumia will win. But they have about a year to go, so we need to keep watching.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben Efson is a pollster. He joined us along with Dr. Asa Asante. He's a senior lecturer at Political Science Department at the University of Ghana. What do you also make of this? You can send us a message. The hashtag is TV3Newday. We have more coming your way. This is still TV3Newday. We'll be back.